Hi everyone, it's Adrian Groenewald here, Me Vision Academy. It's my absolute honor to present this Successful Leader Award today to a special guest who has impacted all our lives. A few weeks ago, we gave him the award, and it was an honor to do so. And now we're doing the formal handover. And we'll also speak to him about leadership, successful leadership, what he's learned. We'll have a brief conversation around that. Bheki Nxumalo, he's the CEO or the Group Executive Generation at Eskom. And he is certainly accredited as the one who led a team and teams to turn around and play a major role, basically turn around I've almost forgotten the word, load shedding. I was finding myself earlier, Bheki, thinking, what was that word again, which is actually a very good thing. So welcome to our conversation today.
No, thank you very much, Adrian, and I'm quite humbled to be here as part of your guest, and it's really quite a humbling experience for me. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's absolutely our honor, and what I'm going to do is just quickly formally hand you the award, and then we're going to have a brief leadership discussion, after which I'll share you our vision. So let me go to the award. This is it. An exclusive recognition of successful leadership awarded to Bheki Nxumalo. It's at least for these things, Bheki, and those who know you contributed to the wording here. Okay, it's for consistently leading individuals and large teams successfully. Currently as Group Executive Generation at Eskom during a most difficult period. And the words given to me was inspiring his team to reach beyond their reach. And that's very admirable. And also achieving what most thought was impossible by uniting with all stakeholders, including your team, your ExCo, board, and of course, so many other stakeholders. And then finally, at least for positively impacting an entire nation, without any doubt, inspiring future leadership in the process. So it's an absolute honor for me on behalf of Me Vision Academy to sign your award. And Me Vision Academy's slogan is a journey to best self. We think that you're on that journey. So formally, congratulations. I know you've said thank you, but I just want to formally congratulate you.
No, let me formally also say thank you very much to yourself and the Me Vision team for really giving me this very, very special recognition. Like I said earlier on, it's quite humbling, and it's not something that I was expecting, but I really appreciate it very much. Thank you. And I'm sure my team will be quite, they did actually send their appreciation the first time we received this news as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement on social media when we actually gave you the award. This is the formality. And I feel like I should give it to you on behalf of South Africa. I mean, I'm not the president or anything, I'm no one. But that's what I feel like, the recognition of sorting out power is one thing, but actually the leadership behind it is another thing. And it's our honor to spearhead that. Now, Bheki, what have you learned about successful leadership in this process, just in your life?
Yeah, I think quite a lot, but in life, what I've learned about the successful leadership is that you need to have set clear goals and expectations for yourself and also for the team, so that there's no levels of ambiguity in terms of what is required to make sure that you align everyone behind those objectives, that everyone is clear. And once that has been done, the second, and I think the most one that I believe in, is that you need to also believe in yourself. You can't ask people to do something that firstly you don't believe on it as well. So you need to believe in what you share with the team, and then also believe in yourself as a leader first as well. And then the most critical thing as well, once you put in people into these positions, you need to constantly show that you believe in them. Because I think one of the things that I've seen, that sometimes, I make the analogy when I engage with the team, that there's nothing that frustrates me than it's like if I always made an analogy of the generals in the army who put the soldiers there, and then he starts shooting them himself. So that's one of the things that I said to the guys. You can't do that as a team, as a leader of the team. Is either you accept the team or you do not. Because if you're going to be the one shooting them down, surely you cannot expect any result. So that's one thing. Believe in yourself, but most importantly, the success, and I think, is in believing in the people. And that's what we really did now. You know, we were going to each and every person that we put into position to say, look, if I didn't believe you can do this, I wouldn't have agreed with you to staying in this position. So that encouraged them to build that self-belief themselves and then stop shooting down their own soldiers as well in the process. And that's thing that for me was quite critical. And then the last one, Adrian, is the issue of alignment. Alignment between myself and my leadership team, and then alignment with my colleagues in Exco and the board, so that again, the board, if they don't gonna believe in me, then there's no point in them having me here as well. And they must support it as well. And we in the process, there will be mistakes. It cannot be, I've not seen a straight line issue in leadership as well, that there is gonna be ups and downs. I know even in this journey of dealing with load shedding, at some point we'll go to stage 2 and then a few weeks later go back to stage 6. And people starting to say, but because we believe in the strategy that was put in place and say this is the right path. So then you need to be able to read the correct signals as well, so that you don't just respond to any noises that is coming through into the process as well. Because you will get, especially in our space, there will be experts, there will be media opinions and everyone. So believe in yourself and believe in the people and set those goals. And then one of the things in those goals as well, you need to be relentless in following up, follow through every day, so that even someone who didn't believe that you're just gonna, because sometimes what we do, we put objectives there and then next week we put other ones. So but this one we said, no, this is what we have agreed on, let's follow it through. And you keep following it through until everyone realizes that this is not going to go away. So you need to be relentlessly boring in following through on the strategy that is on the table, because that creates belief on other people as well. So those are the lessons that I've learned. And then one of the things I thought I should have learned earlier, just to add on your question, is this issue of saying, there's sometimes mistakes that happen when you execute something as critical as this. So it's not that every mistake needs to be met with punishment and harsh words as well. So it's important sometimes just to listen, to understand what has actually happened and what the team have learned from that experience. Because that is, for me, I think it gives a longer result in the long run. I mean, I've seen one of the stations, if I make example to tour, they were at the bottom of the fleet. But I could see that since the first 3 months, the first 6 months, they were even up to the whole year, they were still at it. But I could see that the building blocks are there. When you keep building the block, the house is going to finish at some point, and then you start cheering those small gains that they were receiving. Today, I'm sure they are also surprised themselves. They are operating above 60% on their availability. That's someone that's, and I think those are the things I'm saying. Not every mistakes when they lose the unit. Sometimes I should just allow them to figure out what has happened without me crowding them and shouting at them, because that make them to be scared, and then they can't make mistakes as well. So thanks, Adrian. I think I've
No, that's fantastic. What I'm interested in asking is whether you've now given us some tips or some insights into leading during a crisis. Now, I'm sure those are all valid in leading during a crisis. Is that what you've given us right now? Or because it sounds like if one led like that in any situation, it would be amazing. Do you want to add anything else if I said to you, those leaders out there that are leading a crisis at the moment, whose business is not doing so well, that couldn't be worse than what you faced, to be very honest, probably, but what would you say to them? Is there anything else you'd add to that formula?
I think one thing that I know, that every leader who's facing the tough situation, they know what it could look like in their own businesses. Because at some point they would have been when their business were doing well as well. So they need to build from those experiences and then start building from that, sharing with the employees, to say, in so many years, I mean, we always talk about the Eskom in 2000, 2001, and the years subsequent when we didn't have load shedding, you know. One of the things I did immediately when I come back to Generation was I got my team, I called them all together, we were in one room, and I started asking them to say, who of you have been in Generation for less than a year? And then I couldn't find anyone. I moved to 5 years, I moved to 10 years, I moved to 15 years, and then mostly there were few, and then 20 years and plus. Most of them were there. Then I said, but what make you all of a sudden that you don't understand this generation? Most of you were here when we were performing well, and some of the stations that I led as well. Most of my management team were there still. And I'm saying to them, but you know what good look like. I mean, that is the example with Matimba. Matimba now is operating 80 plus consistent because the team is there. But this issue again of belief, I think we went to a point where, because employees would tell me as well to say, but Bheki, can you ask you to stop calling all of us as thieves in Eskom? Because we are not. So it's that differentiation as well to say, if there's people who are thieves or corrupted in the TV, let's deal with them. And we are dealing with them. But let's not paint everyone, because that was one thing that was hitting our employees in Eskom, and most particular in generation space. So let's try and find out all those things that employees are concerned about, because I can say, I mean, if people have been working in the post station for 20 years plus, they would have seen it all. So now all of a sudden it becomes, then I think the only thing that makes them now to doubt themselves is this: if I keep talking them down, and then that's the main thing. And that's what I would advise the other leaders as well to say, let's let them sketch the expected goals of what need to be achieved, and then try to identify within the teams, because some of the people, when they are down, but there will be those that will give you the quick win. Focus on them, and then allow the other ones. And then once you start, and then you start building. Now the belief is so high in the organization that I can't pick up any station now that don't believe that they can do this.
It's wonderful, Bheki. So digging into the group of who knows what good looks like. That's such a nice way. Yeah, you know what good looks like. You know what success looks like. So that was a beautiful one of identifying the memory. The good memory, the success memory in the team. Revive that and build their confidence. So thank you for that. That's a really good tip in terms of turning around an organization. And you're saying the confidence levels are high now.
Extremely high. And then also is that when you set those objectives, have some rewards, and also to say when these things are missed and there's some slackness, there is a penalties. But then you get the rewards, and when you achieve that. And that's one of the things that we started to do, and people keep looking forward to that, to say, and that recognition of the team in person, by board. I mean, even today, I mean, to share with you that this issue of recognition is across the board. From the chairman of the board, he sent the team across Eskom, applauding us for this 120 days without load shedding today. And we immediately, through my team and everyone else, pass it through every level. I said to the each GMs, make sure all our employees get this message from the chairman of the board on behalf of the board, because we want to build that everyone is watching. We're encouraging that. That is very encouraging. It's encouraging for myself to say, look, we can't drop the ball, but we are mindful that things can still go wrong, but we know now how to quickly recover. It doesn't mean that we do not experience problems. We still experience problems, but because the confidence is so high, the teams can recover immediately, while a year ago would have taken a week because, they were just not sure what needed to be done.
I think something very important for leaders, and the way you built their confidence, I look forward to going and analyzing a little bit more, Bheki. But so first, I've chosen you, we've chosen you, we've put you there, so we have confidence in you. Okay. Now things will continue to go wrong, but the reaction of the leader, your reaction towards that, because the natural reaction is to jump right onto them and to beat them down and to shoot them,
Yeah.
But you say it takes incredible EQ, emotional intelligence, to hold back and still show confidence and let them figure it out. there's something of a gem in there, what you said, because I think most leaders would then become incongruent in saying, I have confidence in you, something goes wrong, and now I jump on you like I don't have confidence in you. Just that patience, just that stimulus and response, that space between the stimulus, the crisis, and the response. Isn't that super important in leadership, especially crisis situations?
It is absolutely important because others are watching, and then now because I mean, people want to see if you are genuinely, because then everyone, you can see the mistakes, and when the leader just bluntly messing up, because it's also wrong to support someone when he make a fundamental mistake that someone who's got a 20-year experience in the business should not be. So you should be genuine as well, because just to support for the sake of it is not right.
Oh, nice.
But when things go wrong because mistakes are happening, that patience, and then also indicate that the patient is going to run out. But you need to also, because you need to always check and balance, because it's not a forever patience. At the end of the day, the country is bleeding, the economy is not growing, everyone is impatient. So we all need, but you must always look at the signs, the behavior of the leaders. How do they behave? How do they treat their team? Because that's what is going to turn the needles. If the leader is constantly doubting his team, that's the person you need to act very quickly and move them out of the position.
What was the most difficult part for you in the last year, 18 months, shall we say, from the time you came back to Generation? What did you find most difficult?
Yeah, it was this issue of trying to get people to really say, look, I know how the power station works. Because I think it was like anyone could come and tell us, even like I'm saying, I mean, I've been here almost 3 decades now. I know this power station, but now where we were, everyone, whether it's a journalist, a secretary, could just pass and then we were like in a back foot, we couldn't even respond, because you can't be responding when you are where we were a year ago. And that was really very difficult for me to see, how do I take the team out of this so that we don't need to respond, but we need to respond, because the results are the best way to respond into all of this. Otherwise, without results. So that was the difficult to figure it out, to say, how do we then turn this situation around so that it starts showing the results, slowly but surely, and moving into the right direction. So for me, that was the most difficult thing, that every time you open your TV, you get home, you could see it in your children, your family, that they are hating with what is happening because they see what you're going through, and they try by all means to support you. So that was the most difficult situation as well, because, our children will also get mocked as well at schools where they are. So it's not only you who take it, For me, it's better because I can do something.
Yeah.
But my children and my family can't do much about what is happening here except supporting me. And I must say, I'm quite grateful for their support as well.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I can just imagine that. Bheki, thank you. What is your message to leaders, but also to South Africa?
I think to South Africa, maybe let me start with leaders in general. That, one thing that I have learned as well is that there are so many leaders you can count on. You can't just deal with the crisis or any other leadership without, now I've got you in my toolbox as well. So now I can add to say, hey, if I've got situation, I can call on Adrian. Because that's what, there's things that I will never know, I can never understand, that you can always count on someone. I've got leaders that were coming to give me counsel, to say, hey, we are here, we are supporting you, we can do that. So let's create that network of support at the leadership level as well, that you can tap into other people. And then to South Africa, I just want to say that, what we went through this past year is a lesson that we should grow beyond it. I think there is much, much brighter future for all of us and for this country as we continue to transition into the next phase on the energy in this country as well. And we will always go through some turbulences as a country, but we need to believe in each other and believe in the collective wisdom of all the leaders that we have in the country, that we will see through our challenges and emerge as a much better country than where we were a few years ago. Thank you very much, Adrian, and I must thank you once again for giving me this platform and this recognition. It's really quite humbling. I think my younger daughter was the first one to frame it in her room as well.
Oh, that is just so cute.
Because that's how proud they become as well when they see that what is happening, and then that people that were not even in my circle, they've recognized me in such a fashion. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you very much, Adrian.
Bheki, we thank you, and after meeting you more particularly now, it just comes together. It makes sense. You know, one can feel someone when you meet them, even on Zoom. I can sense authenticity. I can sense why you've been successful as a leader and why others beneath you are successful. And we thank you for this. I think we should be putting the team on a double-decker bus like we've done with the Springboks and take them through the country. And of course, we won't do that, which is very ironic because your impact on the country has been greater than the wonderful Springboks, to be very honest. But well done, and continue the good work, and tell your team we are proud of them as well, not just you. And I hope we can create a more in-depth study, leadership study, and maybe we can come and sit with them as well sometime and just understand the success that you've created. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I will pass the message to the team. We are all quite grateful for your support, and also just putting us on the map and giving this recognition is greatly appreciated on behalf of the team. Thank you very much, Adrian.